Imagine this: you are in an old house, and everything is old and outdated. Your walls are inefficient, and your kitchen appliances are 20 years old. You want to start retrofitting your house but don't know where to start. Well, embark on this journey with us through a net zero home race. So, how do you play? The board shall be placed in the middle, where everyone can see it. Each player and/or team shall also have the accompanying Excel file pulled up on their personal device. Decide amongst one another each player's position, such as P1, P2, P3, and P4, to help record data within the Excel file. The Excel file shared contains many sheets, but players only need to work on the gameplay sheet. Other than this, you do not need to make changes in any other sheets shared. One device must display the S-tab in Excel so that each player can look at the data at any time. The display sheet will be shared on the projector to understand the annual energy consumption of all the players. This will help you find how other players are performing in the game, helping you strategize your retrofit decision making. To begin, we will set up. Shuffle the occupant behavior cards and place them on the board over the occupant behavior cards. Great job! Next, each player will place their token on the bottom left start/finish square, and everyone will go clockwise around the board. Each player is given a NZHR progress tracker and 16 retrofit measures cards to help keep track of game progress. At the beginning of the game, no cards should be placed on top of the NZHR progress tracker. Keep them separated until the appropriate time. At the beginning of the game, each player is awarded $8,000 so that they may purchase retrofits and pay their energy bill. A player can land on 4 different spaces, and we will go through each one and explain what it means. Let's start by rolling our 2 dice. You roll a 6. Moving your player token 6 spaces clockwise around the board. In this example, the player has landed on a retrofit space named window screen. Each retrofit space is a different shade of green. When you land on a retrofit measure, you may decide, yes or no, to implement a measure to your existing building. The game board indicates the retrofit cost and the potential savings for a year in kilowatt hours. You will consider capital cost and energy savings displayed on the card for your decision. If you select to purchase this retrofit, you may place your separate retrofit measure card on the NZHR progress tracker to help keep up with the retrofits you have on your building. If you select not to implement the retrofit, you will not place your card on the NZHR progress tracker, and your turn is over. After each roll, you must fill out information regarding your turn in the Excel file. Ensure you are on the appropriate player tab you selected at the beginning of the game. Players have to make these edits each time they roll the dice. 2 inputs are needed after each turn if you land on a retrofit. The first is the number that you rolled from your dice. In our example, we rolled a 6. Next, you input your decision to buy the retrofit or not. For example, we will decide not to buy the window screen. Note, you need to look at the amount of capital you are left with to make a decision from the table on the left that is highlighted yellow. If you select yes and the color on the left side under the capital column header turns red, you can't buy that measure. Well, what happens if you land in the occupant behavior space? You will grab one card from the deck and have the chance to either get a positive or negative occupant behavior. Each of these cards only lasts 1 year. The card describes the behavior and its effects on your energy performance for the year. The associated retrofit measure is indicated on the bottom portion. In the Excel file, select an occupant behavior from the provided list in the adjacent column. Match this behavior with the title shown on the OB card. Then, indicate the corresponding occupant behavior name displayed at the top of the card and classify it as either a positive or negative behavior. If you have already upgraded your existing system/retrofit measure, you will use the W/retro option. If you have not upgraded your existing system/retrofit measure, you will use the W/O retro option. You will also select whether you have that retrofit or not. In this case, we will choose positive air conditioning use without retrofit because we do not have an upgraded system yet. In the decision drop-down you will have only a single choice, that is yes to select a measure, and the same will be applied on your home. Another position you can land on is the start/finish. Each time a player lands on or passes over start/finish, they receive an additional $8,000 for the budget, which will accumulate with past years as well. Each time start/finished is passed on or landed on, this will signify 1 calendar year. The final type of space is a weather-related event. When landing on a heat wave or cold wave, you will adjust your tracker card in a similar fashion to that of an occupant behavior card. The effects on your energy are located on your NZHR progress tracker. The associated retrofit measure is indicated on the bottom portion. If you have already upgraded your existing system/retrofit measure, you will use the W/retro option. If you have not upgraded your existing system/retrofit measure, you will use the W/O retro option. This cold/heat wave will last until the end of that year. The input information is similar to the occupant behavior card. In this instance, you will use an A/C heat wave since we have not upgraded to a heat pump retrofit measure yet. And your decision will be yes. The game sheet is divided into 3 parts. The top left half contains yearly values of energy consumption, total energy savings from all the retrofit measures, adding all of them, annual utility bill, total annual expense that you made on retrofit measure, total annual capital left with you after paying utility bill to use to buy retrofit measures. The bottom left contains 2 graphs depicting the top left tabular information in graphical format. The intent is to provide visual means for players to understand how their home has been performing. Point 1 St. Graph shows the annual energy consumption after retrofit measures are applied, while the second graph shows the yearly expenditure made towards getting the retrofit measures. Additional information about each retrofit can be found on the information sheets provided for the group play. These information sheets can be shared at any point in time, and can be shared amongst one another. So who is ready to play Net Zero Home Race?